So, Lena, please explain what will you do as grammarian, and then the word of the day.
Okay, so as grammarian, I will listen carefully to your speeches and note some mistakes that I know how to do correctly. And afterwards, I will summarize it in the end of our meeting and inform you how it's better to say incorrectly. And the word of the day is doubtful. So some synonyms to this word are questionable, uncertain, a phrase with doubtful. For example, this
Disputable.
Not reliable.
Okay, so this is more
Controversial.
Maybe, but okay. So the sentence with this word, for example, this deal seems doubtful for us. So when you are not sure if you should accept this deal or not, it's doubtful. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Lena. So, friends, I think we have a little bit doubtful topic tonight, because downshifting, probably everyone who works in office one or more times thought about this, about downshifting. What does it mean, downshifting? And let me invite their first speaker with prepared project. The title of the speech resonates and is the same: downshifting from idea to reality. Please meet our new clubmate Lena with her second or third.
So the speech within entire project is third, but it's the second project.
Okay, second project. Please meet downshifting from idea to reality.
Probably.
What time for your speech?
5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
So I will remind my evaluator that previously I asked to pay attention more to the fact how nervosity impacts my performance.
Okay.
Yeah, and I hope you remember your previous evaluation.
I remember a lot, but not everything, but a lot.
Okay, perfect. So, let's start. Hi guys, I'm Elena and I'm a downshifter. Probably you want to ask me why. The answer is simple. While discovering the topic and prepare my speech, I understood that a lot of from downshifter aspects are pretty much close to the way I live right now. So what is the meaning of downshifting? It's a part of anti-consumerism. This relatively new social trend means finding an improved balance between leisure and work, escaping from work and spend cycle, and removing the clutter of unnecessary possession. So what are the practical aspects? How can you become closer to downshifting lifestyle? The answer is simpler living. Several main practices of downshifters include accepting less money for fewer hours of working, while placing an emphasis on consuming less in order to reduce your ecological footprint. Of course, probably the only thing you have heard right now is less amount of money. That's why I'm going to lead you through my list of recommendations how to decrease all the money spending activities in your life. I hope this will inspire you for changes and will be useful, because in my mind it's pretty much easy to follow. So, number 1, do not buy an indefinite amount of stuff. Think before the shopping. Maybe you do not need this extra pair of shoes, extra t-shirt, another kit of makeup. Also, you may think about getting rid of directly useful services. For example, manicure and pedicure. You can simply make it at home and in overall save somewhere around $40 per month. And as far as your nails look clean enough, it's okay for the society. Nobody cares about the color, believe me. Number 2, this one's the most crazy one. So, behold, you do not need a car. Okay. Nobody usually dies because of car absence. You live in a big city, use public transportation, or at least taxi for some exceptional scenarios. You may also create a unit with other drivers to go to work within one car full of passengers. Instead, you're only one. You're only one driver. Okay, let's move further. The last but not least item in my list, and my favorite because it's ecological one. Try to be more conscious during your household aspects. When you use less services, you're decreasing your footprint. And maybe you can avoid an everyday to go coffee from a favorite coffee shop. Try to use some reusable glasses. For example, just not to leave a big amount of disposable ones. From one side, it seems that, you need to spend the money to buy a disposable, to buy a reusable glass. But it's profitable enough because you may enjoy a lot of discounts in almost all cafeterias when you use your own glass. Also, it's worth mentioning that you may skip a lot of bad habits, which from one side is harmful enough for you, from the other side it's also can help you to save money. For example, if you quit smoking, you can also save somewhere around $30 to $50 per month. And what do you think? Are these items from my list are hard to implement in your life? I do not think so. In my mind, simple living is only a few steps away. So start by taking the first step today. Who knows, maybe it's the only one thing you need for a happiness. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lena, for your story. So, as I understood, we have at least one downshifter in the room. We continue, and it's interesting to hear from you. What do you think about this idea and this thing like downshifting? So, as I understand, downshifting is on the opposite to the rat race, probably, or the busy life. Then you have the too long list what to do, and you can complete all the tasks, and you are always worried. Nevertheless, you need many things to buy. And what do you think, friends, about downshifting? Could you try to suit this thing on yourself? So, who are ready to share? And I think for our warming up session we can use 5 minutes for each speaker, because not many people in the room. So I invite any volunteer to share. Alex, are you ready? So as I see, your skin is tanned.
Yeah.
So probably
Because our lifestyle induces some changes of human behaviors towards each other. Maybe by this way we could attain a new era of of happiness and harmony, and everything will be okay.
Did you think about the location? So in movies, it's popular idea about the seaside, islands, and so on. What about countryside? I mean Ukrainian villages, like the form of.
Some years ago, I was driving by this kind of ideas, and I bought a countryside house in Carpathian Mountains. Yeah, and I spent a lot of money, time, and energy to build it on, to put it in some good way to fit it for live in. But as I understood later, maybe it's a bad idea to live to live solely, одиночество,
Solitude.
solitude. Yeah. To live in solitude, or to fall into some meditation, to think about, or maybe to sing some songs in solitude. It's countryside lifestyle. And now I would spend some time, maybe 2 or 3 times in a whole year to live in this countryside house for some short period, maybe for 1 week or maybe 2 weeks. It's a totally my. So I've my good ideas about downshifting, about simple life. I could say failed, unfortunately. But my countryside house is open to any volunteers.
I will accept it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I would give you a key and you go ahead freely.
Nice.
Alex, my congratulations with good investment. And what do you think about, and did you try to put it on yourself?
To put it on myself?
Yeah.
I did not try. What I will say about the downshifting. All our population of Ukraine are downshifters. Why? I have heard just now here from the speech that downshifting is a tool to save money, to limit spendings and behavior. Almost all our population have no extra money. So they're downshifter. Hardly they will go to coffee shop one more time. They try to do without car, to do without extra t-shirts, jeans, etc. Everybody is downshifted. Almost. But we have some class of people, economically, which are psychologically, which are real downshifters in life. Why? They have some money they can save or take a loan because they are paid enough to, they can afford some village house, some village place in the nature. There are some people, or effective freelancers. They can drop and live at the same time. We have such narrow part of population in Ukraine. These people are really freelancers. They can practice all the principles of downshifting. I have a lot of reasons for this. Stresses of city life. Look at all the sounds, atmosphere, which is near us. Cars, signals, which are very loud, which are very unpleasant. Environment of cities is dirty. Crowds. All of these are unpleasant and negative features of city life. So, we have some very little part of our population which can be real downshifters. But as a whole, we are pressed. We are all pressed to be downshifters because of monetary reasons. That's my opinion about it. What about my experience of downshifting? I have said that I had never experienced. It is almost so. But in youth, there were times I experienced it. When being on the rest, and being on somebody's houses, village houses, during some times. And all the principles of the wisdom of downshifting, environment, health, monetary limits, wisdom spending, wisdom life, were implemented here. The only one important feature of that time was job in garden. Because simply together apples, potatoes, tomatoes at sea. It simply was necessary to survive in the economy of deficit. This, frankly speaking, so our downshifting depends on our incomes and character of job. The more incomes, the more chance to become downshifter. Thank you.
Alex, thank you for sharing. I remember one day in my legal career, and your client came to me. It was the woman. She was probably 45 years old, and she was the judge of Supreme Court of Ukraine. And she came with some legal problem. She needed legal service, and she said, "I'm tired to work in the Supreme Court. As you understand, the salary is about 200,000 hryvnias, so high for Ukrainian reality." And she says, "I am tired to work, and I think about changing in my life, probably as my colleagues. I want to go to Taiwan, buy the house there and live there, and don't
Taiwan?
Yes, and live there. Don't be involved in all this rat race, and be relaxed, and just live and enjoy." I don't know what to think about such a decision. We continue, and downshifting is about simplifying a life. So it's interesting to hear from the men who dream about this, and the men who never step on the way of my life. Very often I try to impress other people, but in reality these other people do not care about my inner voice what to do. So downshifting really not the answer, probably more question for all of us, and especially for people who get older. Okay, friends, I think you were warmed up before table topic session, and now I invite table topic master, Alex, please. And renew the rules of table topic session, and please lead.
Honestly, I don't remember our table topic thing.
Yes, question tasks for short speeches, unprepared speeches for 2 minutes.
Ah, yeah, of course. Could you help me to explain table topics rules for everybody?
Okay.
Yeah?
You offer the task.
Yeah.
Yes. And invite speaker, and this speaker should deliver short speech, 2 minute speech on this topic.
Okay. Should I figure out some new theme of this?
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How to study English? Please, Artem, explain us. How to study English better
Okay.
than before?
You have to start English.
Study.
Start English, yeah. No, nowadays it's a big question. And when I started study English, it was my first form. And second one, and second one, I'm starting to evaluate Russian language. You know that English, to be honest, it's easiest language in our world. It's having something, another one sentence or like theory. It's just words and question, answer, and so on. And if we look in the history, English language having some events, big events like Germany have, French, Spanish, but English, I even think that it's immediately languages. But if we start study languages, we understand that our mother language like Russian, Ukrainian is really beautiful and more beautiful
than English.
Than English. So I think we should, if you want to start English, it isn't a problem. But the problem is that we are not evaluate our languages. First of all. Thanks. Okay, and next table topic master will be Lena.
Okay. So my task is to ask a question and to...
Yes.
So my question will be, after listening to all the speeches here about downshifting, are you going to change something in your life?
Are you going or are not going?
Are you going to?
Am I going to start a new life? Yes, probably.
Without furniture.
Yes, without furniture, without refrigerator, probably even without a new table and a few chairs. Don't say about chair, yes. And do not remember that I had no TV set probably almost 20 years. Yes, and now I think about the corner for TV set because I had not before a flat, and now I have my own apartment, and I think about TV set, and I don't know what I will see, what program, and I have no interest to football, to other sport games. Does not matter. Something I will see. And probably it will be news, but I would say about my page of my biography. I defended a scientific thesis about using up of mass media in investigation of crimes, and I spent all my evenings 20 years ago before the TV set. I check the program, news, one program, then it was finished, and I changed the channel, and started to see new program and new news. And then I wrote down some jotting about crimes, about criminals, and then tried to make some manipulation with these facts and to use it in my scientific thesis. And it was during probably 3 years, and I was fed with this news. And then, yeah, I was fed with this, and after that I decided don't have any TV set, and I need to find some more happy, attractive idea. So the question, am I going to change my life? Probably yes, I am going, and I have planned for this summer, for these months, for this week, and the question about can I complicate it a little bit different. So the question for my speech was about my intention. Yes, I intend. Okay, and we continue. I invite next table topic master Artem, please. And friends, do not forget support each other with applauses.
Okay, guys. My question about material values.
What?
Material values. Материальные ценности. Values. Material values. So, is it one idea if we destroyed all of material values, we will get freedom in life? What do you think about it, and what do you think about material values? Alex, what do you think about it?
About what?
Material values.
Material values.
And what do you think about the idea if we destroyed all of our material values, we will get freedom?
How to destroy it? Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. We have the universal way, which is very doubtful, by the way, of destroyment of the material values. It's something like of nuclear bombing. All the material values will be destroyed. Nothing will be around here. But we will destroy ourselves. It will be simply empty planet. So we need to use another way, which is not so doubtful, but it is serious. Go to live like primitive people. Ancient people, the very first of them Thank you. No material varies, except for the primitive arms of work, fishing, gathering at sea. But what is this life? This life is not a life, it's survival. So, I am against full destroyment of material values. Because to destroy them fully means to destroy all our world. We need not to destroy values, material, immaterial, national, religious, ideas, tables, expensive, not very expensive things. We need to have wisdom to use them practically. We need to have wisdom to invest in them. Why do we really need, for example, to have 3 tables when we have only 2 members of family? Maybe we don't need even 2 tables, because for 2 men there is enough 1 table. But we should to consider our aims. If we want to have guests or neighbors in our home sometimes, to create atmosphere of friendship, maybe we really need these 3 tables. All should be reasonable. There should be nothing extra. Because when the things are extra, they need the deal, the environment. They're simply wasted. They're simply thrown out. Like not necessary book, not necessary pen, not necessary other subject. It should to be wisdom, to be practical, but not to destroy. Or destroy constructively. Thank you.
Next time.
Was there anybody who didn't speak?
I did not put the desk.
Okay.
Alex said about word extra. I had it and it recalled me one quote. What the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is the short word extra. I do not remember who is the author of this quote, but my question for next speaker is, what word extra does mean for you? So, who was not a speaker? Okay, Lena. Lena, I repeat the question. So there is the quote, there is difference between ordinary and extraordinary, and this difference is short word extra. So what does mean for you the word extra?
Okay. So I have tried to remember the appropriate quote also in answer to your one. I'm not successful in it right now, but something about ideal one and like good enough. So you may experience some good product, for example, so you may create something good, but sometimes you want to achieve some extra result, like to create something perfectly. And this quote that I cannot remember tells that sometimes it's better to stay within good one rather than going towards an ideal results, because you never, probably you never go to the finish of some ideal things. So answering also your question, I think that difference between ordinary and extraordinary, why? is similar to ideal one and just good enough. And in my mind, it's better to have something ordinary, good enough, something complete, without any extra prefixes or prefixes, because it costs you like an extra усилия.
Efforts.
Extra efforts to achieve it or to reach it. So sometimes less is better than more.
Yeah.
Friends, we finished our table topic session, and now we come to the session of evaluation. And I give the floor to Alex Gusil with his evaluation of Lena's speech. Alex, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, please. So, as I remember, it's your second evaluation. Did you notice some progress in Lena's way
some
of
progress.
speaking? Okay, please
I'm
share.
ready. Like you've seen, there is some progress. Despite of have no original or the first speech by 6 pages records, I remember a lot. So, what was the strong point of the first speech? Clarity. The speech is clear, and this advantage remains. About vocal variety, there was very strong problem in the first speech. No vocal variety was used. Now I had to notice some progress. It's improved. It was much more suitable, according to the speech, to the context, than in the first speech. Vocal variety was present and clear, but the tone of speech should be improved. There were no of them. Eyes contact. Eyes contact was slightly improved, but there is a question I want to say from the very classic film, suggestion of предложение, about this. The story was this way. She was a great manager in American company, but she was a Canadian, and according to the immigration laws, she should go to the Canada or marry. According to the immigration law, the marriage should be sincere. But she married one of the employees. First was not, since there were no sincere feelings from the very beginning, but when pair became to build a relationship, they loved each other. And there was one very interesting thing. Before the wedding, just before the wedding, the wife, future wife, decided emotionally to speak the truth, looking in the eyes of the great company, of the whole village, about 100 or more people. And there was only one inspector of migration. The speech was successful. It was a tragedy. It was a tears. But this was understood. Why? She spoke to the whole people, not to the one bad inspector. Simply fixing the facts. This ice contact was made, but too much attention to me. I simply bad inspector, one of the lot of people. I simply make my own records necessary for the job. The main is the audience, the whole audience. Gestures. Some visible improvements, some visible progress. They were more suitable, more in accordance with the speech. But frankly speaking, maybe more, a little bit more active gestures needed. Audience awareness. I have good mark, because they were very short, very clear speech. It is connected with the clarity, that this was understandable for audience. Comfort level, more comfortable than in the first time. The first time it was very hard for the speaker to make contact with the audience. It was very hard. There were some difficulties for the speech. She was feeling uncomfortable. Now it's normal. Not very comfortable, but it's normal. The mark is 3. About the interest. I think we were really engaged with the clear, interesting content. In spite of it was connected with the specific of American society, not of our life, but this was the point to discuss. As this point was created successfully. So the mark of interest is 4. About the feedback. As a whole, I have seen essential progress in gestures, in vocal variety, and some other. But there are a lot of things to be improved. So the mark is 3. I congratulate as a whole with a successful job to improve the speak skills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, thank you for your job also. Now it's my turn, and my report as table topic evaluator. So table topic master was Alex, and Alex a little bit forgot the rules of table topics, so we need to explain it again and again. Yeah. And do not forget about reminding about the using the word of the day. Yeah. So table topic master should remind to everyone that it should be used as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So the question was, as we say, table topic session, it's about impromptu speeches. The question was also impromptu. So to me about going to something change in life, as I understood, and I try to share my sad experience. There was question from Artem about material values to Alex. Quite interesting speech. Material values as it's like your key topic. All materials things.
My key topic is actives.
Okay, yes, and you try to use not just you try not to say about numbers, what materials, you try to use the humor, and I like your speech. What would say about for improvement, probably about the structure. So you are ready to speak on many topics, and probably next focus for growing up in public speaking to think about structure in impromptu speeches. So then you start your speech, you see the finish of your speech, and with some bright, for example, quote or some bright words, something that audience can remember after not only your speech, after the meeting also. So I think you are on the level to do it. And then was my question to Lena about the word extra. Lena, I see real progress in your speeches, and now you are a different person as I remember you a few months ago. It's not some surprise for you what to say. You are ready to speak, you know what to do on the scene, even if we have not a big audience. Nevertheless, you deliver speech, and I ask Artem to follow the watch. But he take a red card, but you said, why? So you understood and you felt that the time is not 2 minutes, you just started your speaking, probably it was 30 seconds, not more, and you felt it. If you were some newcomer who is under pressure, you will be ready to take your seat and to stop your speaking, but you did not say it, and you followed your speech and finished in good ways your speech. Thank you. What I would say about self-improving in public speaking, the nervous way in your speech has another way. You not sometimes, probably you often behave yourself on the scene like a little bit jumping. So I don't know why, probably it's about nervous. You're nervous, yes, but and thank you. And sometimes you rub your nose. Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Probably you need time for thinking new ideas and finding new words. But it's not needed for public speaking. Then you rub your nose. But nevertheless, thank you for sharing your deep ideas on this short word extra.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends, and then I invite Lena, you with your report as grammarian.
Okay.
Please.
So, as far as you mentioned about my nose, I want to touch it very much. Okay, so I will try to be short, but let's start with the pronunciation. So I have heard about 3 words that I may recommend to improve. So the first one was tasks. It's better to say tasks. Second one was thought, like думал or something like this. So remember about your tongue, and it's better to say thought. And the third one within pronunciation was about author. So it was said like in different way, or something like author. So it's correctly to say author, like the same tongue position like in thought. Then some about comparative forms. So I have heard more simple like 2 times it was in one of the speeches. It's not technically correct. It's better, it's more correct to say simpler. So it's 3 forms: simple, simpler, is the simplest. Yes. Then, going further, articles. So it was to put the end. It's also not technically correct, put an end to. So something like this. In matter of fact, so it's correct to say in a matter of fact. Then, all our population. I'm not thinking that it's okay enough, and I would recommend to use the entire population. Are you have had? So it's some confusing question. It's better to say have. Have you had?
Do you have?
Do you have something like this? So not are you have had, because it's like are and have is the same questionable word. In the nature, it was said meaning some village. So in the nature can be translated like по природе своей. So it's better to say surrounded by nature or near forest, in the wild, something like this. Okay. I would to say, so I would like to say. So do not skip words from a sentence. 9 form it was, so about school. So it's more correct to say 9th grade. Proof of the problem. So I would recommend to say solution or solve of the problem. And a lot of resource, don't forget about the ending, like a lot of resources. Кальян, it's hookah in English. And job in the garden, I would say work in the garden, because job in garden is something like you're an employee. Yes, almost bear me for 5 minutes. Try to feed, about cow chicken, it's better to say to breed, like разводить, или содержать. When I start study English, I would recommend to add, or to say when I started, have started, or something like this, have been started. Before the TV set, I think, yes. I decided don't have a TV set. I would say I decided not to have. Okay, that's all.
And what about the using that of the day?
Our winner is Alex.
And last report from timer and accountant, please.
Okay. Lena, you use 5 minutes and 8 seconds in your speech. Alex, you use the same 5 minutes and 8 seconds. And second Alex, you use 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Yuri, table topics you use 1 minute and 57 seconds. Alex use 2 minutes 40 seconds. And Lena 2 minutes 34. And what about our counter? Most of all, who used crash sounds, it was Alex. He used 12 times a. 3 times my, something like that. So, and Alex, you, as the same situation, you use a lot of pause. But I see that you work on that, you try to speak more fast, so my congratulations, so that's all. Thank you.
Friends, we come to the finish of our